Alright, so I've been getting asked a bunch, what am I using for Hellhest and what is my build? So in this video, I'm going to be covering what I use on Hellhest and why. You might want to use other stuff that I'll cover as well. I'll give you some options and just go over why I use certain things over others. So starting off really quickly, Hellhest uses drones. So you have a healing drone, which is going to give you and your teammates healing, as well as a damage drone, which is going to give you a damage bonus. And with these drones, when you get kills, they're going to drop data fragments on the ground. And at the bottom of my screen above my overshield and my health, you see the number 42. So that can go up to 48. And when that gets to 24, I am actually able to make heavy ammo for me and my teammates. When you upgrade her talent tree, that number goes down to 16. So you're going to be able to make 3 heavy ammo bricks per full meter charge, rather than just 2. Now, she has the ability Salvo, which is going to fire a volley at the reticle's position. And when you have your drones, the healing drone is going to shoot a healing shot at you, and the damage drone is going to shoot a jolting arc shot at the enemy. And with your weapon mastery, casting Salvo is going to grant you overclock shot. This is going to shorten bow draw time and linear fusion rifle charge time by 50%. And shots that hit combatants are also going to deal an extra 15% arc damage. This is really strong, and it's going to be like your main ability, other than your drones, obviously. Using that Salvo for that reduced draw time and that increased damage is clutch. Now, her talent tree is really good as well. The first one, Rapid Deployment, now has 3 charges. So when charges are at the max and Helhest deploys a boosting and healing drone, it will be directly upgraded to its maximum level. At talent tree level 2, while there are combatants inflicted with data analysis, the encrypted data automatically generates 1 data fragment every 15 seconds. So way to get those data fragments to charge up your meter without getting kills. Now we also have her third one, which overclocked shot damage is going to be increased by an additional 20%. At level 4, that's when you're going to get the data fragments required to make heavy ammo reduced to 16. At level 5, the number of Salvo stacks granted after casting Salvo ability, which makes a difference, and I'll show what this means here in a second. As well as at the final level, the drones are going to have a maximum level of 3. Boosting drone and healing drone's effective radius is going to be increased by 50%. And when firing weapons to direct your drones to fire volleys, they will deal an additional instance of arc damage equal to 50% of the fired weapons damage. So her talent tree is worth pulling for. It makes a difference. So with those Salvo stacks, when I shoot, you see that little like arc volley that gets shot down at it. That is what the Salvo effect means. Now when you summon your drones, whatever enemy, let's see, they're just going to shoot a random enemy. So they're shooting the one in the middle. But when I go and shoot at another enemy, both drones are going to target that enemy and shoot them. So really good for a damage phase. And for her super, it's going to spawn in a super drone, which is actually going to follow you around and continuously do damage, as well as boost the effects of your boosting drone and your healing drones that are active. I'm going to show you like the damage rotation as well in this video. She is able to do a bunch of damage. Now getting into the weapons that I use. So I use the Yoshimoto bow, and I like the Archer's Tempo, as well as the Ensured Yields perk. Now Archer's Tempo has been buggy when you have the upgrade for it. I don't have it yet. But when you proc Salvo and have that overclock shot, I guess Archer's Tempo isn't working correctly, but you also have on this bow the Annihilation and the Ensured Yields roll. I like the Archer's Tempo Ensured Yields personally, but for total damage, Annihilation and Ensured Yields does cook. Now, Trinicle is a great bow. I just like the Royal Contravene, but the end of the line God Roll is absolutely nasty as well. Trinkladier as well as Searing Mark combined is a DPS machine. Now, people are also using Firing Line on this weapon. You do get less damage than Trinkladier on it. Now, your drones count as allies, so you're able to proc Firing Line. As you see on the left side of my screen, I have Firing Line active without having any allies around me because these drones technically count as allies. So you're able to proc Firing Line at all times with this, but Trinkladier is also really easy to proc, and it is a higher damage increase anyway, but I did want to mention that in the video. And the Royal Contravene is really good because the Catalyst is going to give you rewind rounds, which when this weapon's magazine is empty, it refills from reserves based on the number of hits. You also have the second Catalyst, which is weapon deals an extra plus 20% precision damage. And with your weapon mastery at level 4, When you have the overclock shot, it will make linear fusion rifle shots fired reload 1 round from reserves. So I'm going to show you a damage rotation and just show you that you really do not have to reload this weapon during damage. So you proc both your drones, you're going to pop your super, and then you proc Salvo. And you just let this thing cook. End of the line does really good damage as well, but I love not having to reload this weapon and just being able to dump all the reserves like nothing. Like, as you see, I haven't reloaded manually once yet. And I can proc Salvo again. It's just insane how fast you are able to do so much damage. It is really good as well for Shinkas. So if I spawn in... So what I like to do against Shinkas is just proc Salvo and melt their health. And they just fall over. Now, I'll show you a damage rotation with the end of the line god roll. Pop our super, proc Salvo. And the damage is great on the end of the line as well. But it's that reload where it's just like the little bit of a difference. But that last shot being buffed does help its damage as well. But the difference is the reload, obviously. But still really good damage and a really strong weapon. Now that's kind of like the weapons and stuff that I use in kind of her abilities and why. Now getting into her artifacts. So the artifacts that I use is Inspiring Axion, which the wielder is going to take 32% less damage from sources more than 15 meters away. And this is going to take place while we are affected by both healing over time and ally damage bonus effects. So that's either of our drones that will give us that artifact being procced. And that's why I like Inspiring Axion. It's just so easy to use. Now for the second artifact slot, I like Ring of Conversion, which we're going to get 80% of overflow healing from the wielder's own abilities. It's going to be converted into an overshield that lasts for 6 seconds. So while I'm just sitting here, I'm being healed, and I have that overshield that is active. And you're pretty much going to have that overshield all the time because you're going to constantly have healing from your drones. So that is why I use Ring of Conversion, just another artifact that is really easy to proc. For the third artifact slot, I like Calming Token, so shots fired while stationary are going to gain plus 10 accuracy and plus 46% precision damage. So once again, we just stand still, and which I have a hard time standing still, but since we're using bows and linear fusion rifles, it's pretty easy to stand still and get this bonus. There is also United Axion Calming Token. I just stand still, and I have that plus 46% precision damage anyway. We also have for the final one, Bellicose Planetismal, which casting signature abilities is going to grant plus 30% weapon damage for 6 seconds. So anytime, if I go to move my drones in, I will have that damage boost activated, so that's why I like using it. And we do also have Hawkeye Token, which is really easy to proc on this character since we're using bows and linear fusion rifles, which when hitting targets more than 20 meters away, weapons deal higher damage based on how far away they are, up to 38.4%. So this is 20 meters, which is not far at all. And as we just keep backing up, not hard to proc this, but I just like Bellicose because I proc that. I have that 30% damage bonus. But up to you what you want to use for your artifacts. These are just what I use and what I recommend. They're all really easy to proc, so that's why I choose them. I don't really like running artifacts that are more niche than others. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on what artifacts you use, as well as what your build is for Hellhest. At the end of the day, this is just what I like. Could be different for everybody. That's what is nice about the game and all these different artifacts. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next one. Uppers.